All right, so it was the early winter of 2023, and I just had one of those moments, right? I'm not even gonna cut this part out of the video because I've had one of those moments where I'm like trying to speak and then I just quickly stop. And then I start thinking about every little thing that I'm afraid to say. Even to this day, I still have a fear of failure. I still have the fear of, getting my camera out, clicking record, speaking, and then just like either stuttering on my words, not knowing what to say. I even have the fear of even just getting the camera out and recording and putting myself out there in the world. And this is just the fear that I have with this part of my life. And you probably have many fears in many parts of your life as well. Whether it's quitting your job, whether it's just going and taking that leap of faith, whether it's starting that business, whether it's applying to that school, whether it's opening your report card, you have so many different types of fears in your life. Honestly, I want to make this video because the fear of failure, it's not what we think it is. And honestly, the fear of failure is something that we've kind of just like masked on top of what we're actually afraid of. Because a lot of people in your life, they always talk about how to get over the fear of failure. But the truth is that we're not afraid of failure. We're actually afraid of something else. And firstly, let's understand why we're even afraid of failure, so-called failure, right? Honestly, I will just argue that it's just natural human instinct. Failure is just success not guaranteed, survival not guaranteed. And as humans, we are programmed to do every single thing in our nature to survive. And so when we face failure, that's going against our survival needs. So our brains avoid things that aren't guaranteed, right? So that's why so many of us, we're afraid to do things because there's no guaranteed success to it. And so when there's no guaranteed success to it, that brings so much fear into us, right? It's the uncertainty. And for people who are wanting to still do things, but again, they're stuck by that fear, I want to quickly let you know that it is not the fear of failure that's stopping us. What we're actually afraid of is the internal emotions that failure brings. So as humans, every single thing we do is based off emotions. Every single decision, whether you think it is not emotional or emotional, every single decision that we make in life is an emotional decision. We do things because we know it's going to make us feel a certain type of way. When we do things that we think are not going to make us feel good, that's what gets us scared. That's what we're afraid of. Let me quickly say the example of driving. When I'm driving is just a neutral act. But if I'm happy and driving, I'm gonna have a good time. I'm gonna be blasting music, you know what I'm saying? But then if I'm angry and I'm driving, I'm still doing the same thing, which is driving, but now it's like every little thing is like bothering me. I'm just like getting road rage. Like it's just a completely different experience from if you're happy in driving and if you're angry in driving. And so we can tie this to every single thing we do in life. When I'm working on, let's say, homework, when I'm studying, if I feel good about studying and those internal emotions about studying are positive, I'm gonna have a good time studying. I'm gonna have a good study session. I'm gonna maybe get some coffee, you know what I'm saying, right? But if I'm stressed out, or if I'm angry, or if I'm annoyed while studying, then studying is going to take me probably forever to do. I'm probably not going to memorize as much things. There's gonna be a lot more mental friction. Every single thing we do, we tie an emotion to it, and that emotion dictates how we feel to doing that thing. And so failure is one of these things. The thing with failure is that we tie failure to be so negative only because we tie negative emotions to failure. And the truth is that the 1% of people who are successful, they have internally changed how they see and view failure. Because the 99% of people, they view failure in a negative light. But for the successful people, to them, failure is good. They tie positive emotions to failure. If they fail, they're like, oh, bet, you know what? I just now learned another way to how not to go about this. But for the other 99% of people who constantly see failure as a negative thing, they want to avoid failure at all times because they haven't changed their internal emotions and their internal feelings of how they feel about failure. To them, if they fail, that's a bad thing. To them, they are afraid of the negative emotions that come with failure. It's not failure itself that they're afraid of. They're afraid of the negative emotions that they tie to failure. If they fail, they're going to feel bad. They're going to feel shitty about themselves. They're going to feel stupid. But for successful people, they have changed those feelings towards failure. So if they fail, they either feel happy, right? Maybe not happy, but they feel, you know what? Okay, they feel content, they feel good. They'd be like, okay, I failed. Let's do that again. If you tie negative emotions to failure, you don't want to fail. But if you tie positive emotions to failure, you're okay with failing, or maybe even might look forward to failing. Really quickly though, I do just want to drop a quick call to action in this video. If you are enjoying it so far and just want to work with me one-on-one to get personal advice, or just be in a community of other like-minded people, or just people who are also sharing the same goals, then join the paid community down below in the description. Again, that's only if you're enjoying the video, which I hope you are, and you see value in how I can help you even more on a personal level, then the link is in the description. But besides that, what I want you to do now is I want you to change how you view failure. And how we're gonna do that is we're gonna fall in love with the emotional states, whether it's failure or success. Whether you fail or you succeed, I want you to love that emotion that comes with it. Again, we're not afraid of failure. We're afraid of the internal emotions that we feel. If we can change the feelings that we have towards failing or succeeding, no matter which one you do or which outcome you get, you're going to feel okay. And that's going to get you to do it even more. Because again, for so long, most people, they think that they just have to budge through it. They just have to budge through this wall of not being afraid of failure. And they never really change what's happening underneath, so that when they, let's say, build up the courage and they still do it and they fail, they don't want to do it again, right? They feel so shitty that they don't want to try it again, because they've tied failing to a negative experience. Again, it goes back to the human survival instincts of, if we do something that goes against our survival instincts, then we're not gonna want to do it again. That's just how we learn. And so we really have to ignore that part of our brain that's constantly just out searching for survival, and we must leave the brain and move more to the heart. Change the internalized feelings that you have towards that thing, so that way when you budge to doing what you want to do and you fail, you still have the energy and the courage to just go at it again. And I really don't want to sound like that corny guy who sells courses online, because I'm not selling you a course. I did make a course on all of this, going deeper into it, what actually gets us to do work, how to overcome failure, all those things in the same course, which is again in that community down below, which you get for free if you join, with other perks such as weekly calls, one-on-one advice, and a whole entire community. But again, that's just if you found value in the video and want to work with me more personally. And then on top of that, you get the course for free, which again, I'm not trying to sound like that corny guy who sells courses, because I'm not trying to sell you the course, I'm trying to sell you the community, you know what I'm saying? Anyways though, RNH Hunnid, stay on it with yourself.